Dear Reddit, last night, I finally went on a date with this guy who's been asking me out for the past couple of months. He took me to a weight loss seminar. What the ducking duck is this moment in your dating history? Story time. Warning. Wall of text. So I've known this guy for almost a year now. Not really good friends or anything. More of casual acquaintances. We have a bunch of common friends and see each other from time to time. Parties, etc. A couple of months ago he started messaging me. First on Facebook, then by text. He got my number from a friend. He didn't ask me for it, and most of the time I responded just to be polite. He's nice enough, but not really my type. So, when he started dropping hints about meeting up, I just turned him down and said I'm busy, or we'd just catch up the next time there's a gathering with our friends, that sort of thing. Fast forward to last week, and he asked me out again, which if I recall correctly is the 6th time in the past 2 months. I finally decided to at least give him a chance, cause hey, what could go wrong anyway, and who knows what I'm missing and all that jazz. Worst case scenario it would be awkward, but we've talked more than a few times, so I was thinking it can't be that bad, and we could actually have a pleasant time. Date night comes, and we meet up in the city after work. We have dinner, nice, cutesy Japanese place. Conversation was okay. I was certain at this point that it's really not going to take off. He really isn't my type. But I was having a pleasant enough time, and he was a total gentleman and not bad to talk to. The bill comes, and I was going to suggest a quick coffee before heading home. However, he said that there's something he'd made an appointment for us for, and we need to rush off to make it in time. I was a bit intrigued and excited. Was it a movie, or a show, a play? He knows I'm into theater? So we hurry off, and he took me to a high-end luxury mall with an attached wing for offices. We went up. Wait, this is an office lobby, what the? It was a ducking weight loss center. So, he explains that he's part of this company, he works for them on a part-time basis as a distributor, and he wanted to introduce me to their products, which would revolutionize my lifestyle and make me healthier than I've ever been in my entire life. For your information, I'm 5 feet 5 and 135 pounds. I was totally stunned at this point, so I was just nodding like an idiot the whole time we were walking inside. He then left me with his smarmy teammates, who proceeded to give me an orientation about their company and a run through of their health supplements. When he got to the part where the weight loss products are, the smarmiest one said, "Oh, now this is what you've been waiting for. I saved the best for last." I just sat through it, because I knew that if I started to say something, I was definitely going to burst and make a spectacle of myself. There was a seminar ongoing and we were at a little table to the side. After I flat out said that I'm not interested in any of the products and frankly don't believe that I need health supplements, I eat well and exercise regularly, they started on the second phase, introducing me to the business aspect of it. Basically, it was a networking model of business, where you not only sell the products, you also recruit people to sell them, and they would be under your team, and you get a commission for every sale they make. They rhapsodized about the wonders of the product, how easy it is to sell, and how much money I could be making because they could tell I have the right kind of personality and network for it. Registration was only $1,000, and it was consumable in products, which I could either use or sell to get my registration money back immediately. I wish I could say I flipped the ducking table and screamed at them to duck themselves with their health supplements and hope they overdose on their products, but no. Right after the talk, I just said I should head home since it was getting a bit late. The guy actually messaged me to say that he had a good time and he hopes to see me again, and that I would reconsider their products and the business opportunity. I called some friends up and went out for drinks, because duck your health supplements, that's why. TLDR, went on a date, guy brought me to weight loss seminar, tried to sell me $1,000 worth of weight loss products, and then tried to recruit me to join their networking business. I went on a few dates with a guy in college. At first, I was excited because I found him attractive and he said yes to a dinner date. Turns out even attractive people can be a bag of crazy. First date, we go out to an Italian restaurant. He orders spaghetti with regular sauce, no meatballs. Out of curiosity asked if he's tried anything else on the menu he could recommend. Nope, I only ever order spaghetti. Food comes, and he proceeds to lean over his plate, shovel the spaghetti in his mouth and use his lips to cut the rest back on his plate. I'm no snob, I've eaten spaghetti like that before, just never in public. He says it's the right way to eat it. He asks if I'd like to go see a movie. I'm not feeling the vibe, so I decline, make up some project I need to finish. He tells me he loves the movies, wishes he could just live in one all the time. Alright, well, thanks for the date. A week later he asks me out again. I decide to give him another shot. Maybe I was being overly judgmental or petty. We agree to go out for pizza and see a movie. I pick him up at his house, and we go to Pizza Hut at his insistence. Best pizza on the planet, he tells me about 3 times on the way there. We get there, and he orders a personal pan for himself. That was a first. Okay, he didn't want to share the bill maybe? I order one for myself and just let it go. Again, worrying maybe I'm being judgy. Bill comes and he pays. So now I'm really confused, but whatever, I'm not going to call him out, not worth it. Movie ended up being back his house, where surprise. He lives with his parents. His dad asks me what I'm in school for, and when I tell him he lectures me that I should go to school for teaching, since that's what he does. Okay, nice meeting you. We never did watch the movie, spent the rest of the evening with him showing me all his WWF wrestling memorabilia, and bossing his mother around Cartman style. His life goal was to get his old job at Blockbuster back, since it was the most fun he'd ever have. His favorite way to spend Christmas was when his mom let him open everything the night before, so he could spend the day at the movies, avoiding all the relatives that came over for Christmas dinner. He hated everything his mother cooked, and counted off to me the only 10 foods he would ever eat. Hated everything else, didn't need to even try it. Did I mention he was 27 years old? A few days later, he invites me out to coffee, and I agree, so I can tell him I won't be going on any more dates with him. He was nice enough, and even though he was an oddball, we never got each other to laugh. All our conversations were dry, no shared interests, and he didn't have the same values on the importance of family. This wasn't going to work. We meet up, and he orders a meal while I get my coffee. I tell him that I enjoyed our dates, but wouldn't be seeing him again. He yells, "So you're breaking up with me?" "No, we're not anything official. I can't believe you're dumping me." And he storms out, leaving his food behind half eaten. I sit there for a few moments kind of stunned, slightly amused, but okay, life goes on. A few weeks go by, and now it's the holidays. I run into him again, and this time we do hit it off. He seems to laugh easier, tells a good joke, etc. He asks what I'm doing for New Year's, and I invite him to the party I was going to. I figure, hey, maybe we can at least be friends. I tell him about the other girls that will be there, and he seems to get the hint that we aren't going as a couple. We get to the party, and he loudly declares that he doesn't drink. That's fine, no one reacts, no biggie. He sits in the corner refusing to acknowledge anyone. He seems upset for some reason, so I ask him what's wrong. He's upset because the movie trivia game we were playing earlier had a mistake in it. Alright. Well, we'll get the info off the box and write to them. He seems to cheer up after this. Later he sneaks into the kitchen and begins to prepare himself a mixed drink by pouring a little of everything into a glass. He doesn't notice me, and he's talking to himself going, "Yeah, a little of this, oh maybe some of that." He takes a sip of his rum cranberry Malibu Dr. Pepper orange juice mint schnapps, with a splash of tap water, and pours the rest down the drain. I don't think he wanted to admit he didn't know how alcohol worked. On the drive home the next morning, he pretended to have a hangover and didn't talk much. I'm driving, and the roads are icy, so I'm not minding the silence. About 30 minutes left in the trip, and he asks me what I want to do with my college degree. I tell him my plans and stuff I'm excited to do. He then says this: "I don't see the point of you wasting your time getting a degree. You'll just be spending the rest of your life raising my children and cooking me meals that I like." It took all I had not to dump him off right there on the freeway. He continues to say demeaning nonsense about our future, how he'll convince me to drop out of college, how pointless it is for all women to get degrees, blah blah blah. My ears began ringing with rage. I'd never had someone say anything so outrightly unsupportive or sexist like that to my face. I knew he had some strange social issues, maybe some anxiety about trying new things, but this was too much. I calmly told him I was not going to be told my lot in life is to raise his babies on his part-time Blockbuster paycheck. I didn't say another word to him, just dropped him off at his car and drove off. I did learn to never feel obligated to put up with someone's bullshit. I kept giving him chances when I shouldn't have, but in the end I think I needed to learn that lesson. Now I'm really careful about not leading men on, especially if they have poor social skills. Went out with a girl for a first date. She took me to a Taekwondo lesson, which is a Korean sword fighting sport. I thought that was cool, but it was an advanced class and I made somewhat of a fool of myself, but all in good fun. Anyway, it turned out that she was bringing me there because she wanted me to be part of a documentary about foreigners in Korea. So, my looking like a fool was broadcast nationwide. We then visited the Grandmaster's house for Machiavelli, and the film crew started interviewing me. They were basically focusing on my relationship with the girl I was going out with. They didn't seem to understand it was a first date. So here I am trying to answer awkward questions without embarrassing both of us on national television. In college, this guy from one of my classes asked me to go out with him out of the blue. We'd never even talked before, but he was pretty cute, so I said sure. We exchanged numbers, and he said he'd call me with details. He called the next day and told me we were going to a restaurant that was way out of my price range. We're talking like no way will this bill be under $100. I tried talking him out of it, and when that didn't work, flat out saying I couldn't afford something like that, but he insists and tells me not to worry, this all really should have been a clue to me. So I say fine, and agree to go. We get to the restaurant and the waiter comes over, and I go to order the cheapest thing on the menu, when he stops me and says, "Ignore her, we're both having the steak." But I don't like steak. She's just saying that because she's poor. We'll have steak. And shoos the waiter away. I'm mortified and pissed and want to leave, but he was my ride. He tries to make conversation and just proves to me that he really is an ass. Then he says he has to go to the bathroom and leaves. I'm sitting there for a good 10 minutes. Before he texts me, "Ha ha ha, I got the shits from drinking last night, don't eat without me." That was the last straw. I call the waiter over, pay for my meal, and go to the Starbucks down the street to call my friend to pick me up. TLDR, guy was trying to impress me and was the world's biggest ass. Edit, just to clear some things up, I paid for just my meal, not his. And I'm well aware I didn't owe him anything, I just wanted to make a clean break from this guy. Alright, I'll post one. So I went on a couple dates with this girl, and she was giving me some signs that she was ready to get a little physical. So, I lean in close and try to kiss her, and she turns her face away from me. Stunned, I end up going home and thinking it was over between us. Later on, she contacts me and starts hinting we should go out again. I decide to go for it, again, after getting some heavy hints, and she pushes me away. So now I just ask, "What's going on?" She says, "I am on dates with you so I don't feel like I'm undesirable, but I'm not attracted to you." She called me the next day and I told her, "I'm not dating people who make me feel undesirable," then hang up. On my first date with a guy off an internet dating site, he took us to the Scientology Museum in London. I thought, original, easy to find things to talk about, laugh at the craziness of, this could be fun. Then he proceeded to read every single piece of writing on every single exhibit. Ask the attendant very probing questions about how one goes about joining Scientology, etc, etc. And sounding slightly too interested to just be intrigued about a religion. Also, he was visibly sweating. Once we were done there, we went for a glass of wine, and he told me he used to shoot heroin. I was out of there like a shot.